Brandon, we always talk TV. And this show snuck up on me because I had watched the first season of a show called A Man on the Inside with Ted Danson. Have you seen it?
I watched season one. I love season one. It was hilarious. It was a feel-good show, which I always enjoy if it's comedy and feel-good. I have not started season two yet, though.
Well, I just started season two. It is a very similar theme and structure as season one, but instead of in a nursing home, he's undercover at a university. So to me, it's kind of the opposite because you had all the old people from season one, and now you're going to get a dose of some young people who are in college, but still plenty of old people involved.
Oh, nice. It was so funny, and it's such a unique setup. I really like this late career thing that Ted Danson has going on. He was really, really funny in The Good Place, and he's really funny in this show, A Man on the Inside. I also like, what's her name? Mary Elizabeth Ellis. She was from It's Always Sunny. She was in this underrated show called The Grinder. She was in Santa Clarita Diet. She's really good in this as his daughter. It's such a good show. Highly recommend.
Yes, highly recommend. And maybe you've got an opinion on this, having watched the first season. And again, it was at a nursing or assisted living home. Do you think that the appeal of Ted Danson is because of our age? Or do you think, a 25-year-old would really dig this show too?
No, I think a 25-year-old would really dig this show as well. And I'm not just saying that. Ted Danson is just so likable and funny and charming. No matter what he does, obviously Cheers, but then like I said, The Good Place. And then in this, there's just something about him that's so likable and funny. I think that everybody would like this show regardless of your age. And it's from the same creator, Michael Schur, that did Parks and Rec. He did, help me out. A Good Place. He did
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yes. So between Ted Danson and Michael Schur, come on, it's great.
Yes, totally agree. Welcome back to the Daily Thunder podcast. I'm John Napier, publisher of Daily Thunder, and I'll be your host today. Alongside me is Daily Thunder beat writer Brandon Rabar. Brandon, happy Thanksgiving. How are you on this day before Turkey Day?
I am good. I'm excited about Thanksgiving. I'm excited about some turkey and dressing and mashed potatoes. I am excited about not eating any sort of cranberry sauce or yams. I don't do those. Do you eat the cranberry sauce and yams?
I don't have yams at my Thanksgiving dinner, and you're right. I don't eat the cranberry sauce.
So nasty. I mean, if you enjoy it.
Do people bring yams to your Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah, as a traditional thing. It's my sister-in-law. She will bring them, but I guess she had them growing up, and I think just because it's supposed to be a part of Thanksgiving and it's traditional, we do it. And 2 people out of 20 will eat it. And for the people that like yams or cranberry sauce, you do you. I'm glad somebody does. I'm glad that they're there. I don't want to eat them, but I'm glad they're there because you're supposed to have them for Thanksgiving. Even though they're nasty and I won't touch them.
Good point. Well, you're a traditionalist, right? Even though you don't want them, they should be there because that's what Thanksgiving dinner is supposed to have. All right.
Exactly. It was it's like Owen Wilson in Zoolander when he talks about Sting. He's like, I'm a really big fan of Sting. I don't really listen to his music, but I'm just really glad that he's out there making it. That's kind of how I feel about yams and cranberry sauce.
Well, we can talk about the Thunder, which are the opposite of the yams and cranberry sauce at a Thanksgiving dinner. They're the turkey, the mashed potatoes, the dressing or stuffing. They're the whole thing. And another good week of Thunder basketball, continuing the winning trend with only one loss. They've won all 3 games in the last week. They're on a 9-game win streak. And it started out with a closer than expected win over the Kings. I don't know. What were your thoughts on the Kings game? What do you think was the reason the Thunder didn't just blow the doors off the Kings as I think everybody expected?
Yeah, I think that it was a combination of a couple of things. I think that, they are human. And after a while, like, just blowing everybody out, they're going to miss some shots every now and then, like every possession. We're so used to every possession being like 100% from every single player defensively. And like, maybe some possessions, it'll be like 80% from half the players. I don't know. I'm trying to find reasons. Sometimes in basketball, you only win by 14 and it hurts your point differential. Come on. This is crazy. Like, the Thunder have spoiled us to the point that, like, we talk about 14-point wins over a team that, by the way, beat the Nuggets recently and are on a 2-game win streak. I don't see it lasting, of course. They beat them by 14. You go through the box score. I mean, it was really just a 3-point shooting. They went 10 of 38 from 3 for 26%. But then, of course, they held the Kings to pretty much the same 8 of 28 for 29%. It's so hard now when you break down these games against teams that they're just so much obviously better than, and they beat them by like 15 or so points because it's just what they do every night. And it's like looked at as like a disappointment if they're not up by like 30. Like, that's the point we are with this team. That's how crazy this team has been this season, that, games like this are just like, what do we talk about?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. And we do have something to talk about because I think the court and the jerseys got rave reviews. So the new City Edition court and jerseys. What were your thoughts?
I loved them. I thought that they were, I don't want to go so far as to say that they were my new number one jerseys of all time, but they might be. They're definitely in the conversation for my favorite jerseys of all time. And it's absolutely my favorite Thunder court I've ever seen. Yeah, this Nike City Edition that they did this year, it was an homage to the Native American community, and the ones that they had back in, I think it was 2019, the original Native inspired jerseys. So that was kind of the starting point for these newly designed ones from Nike. I thought they did an incredible bang up job on these jerseys and on the court. And it looked even better on like in arena, like in person, than it did on TV. And it looked great on TV because I went back and watched the highlights later to kind of check out the game and check out the court and the jerseys. And they do look great on TV, but man, up close and personal, they look so good.
One difference between the standard Thunder jerseys and court was the color scheme was different. Now I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you have a preference of the core Thunder color scheme, which originally had like 8 colors, but now they've reduced it to what the City Edition color scheme was, with sort of that teal and the dark blue?
I'm going to be completely honest with you, John. I am colorblind. So my like jersey like critiques go as far as like I liked them or I didn't like them, or they were pretty good or not so good, or these look great. I can't really get into the details of the colors because I can't really tell the difference in a lot of, I can tell whether it looks good to my colorblind eyes or not. And to my colorblind eyes, they look really sharp. That's as far as I
knew that you were colorblind, and I still put you on the spot. So, but that said, I do kind of like the day-to-day Thunder colors, but that dark blue, the teal with the red, it looked really good. And I think that's really what enhanced that court. That dark blue contrasting with the teal was really, really sharp. And I think that was one of the best things about the game, was getting to see the debut of the City Edition jerseys and the court. So let's move on and talk about the game against the Jazz. That one started out a little bit rough. The Jazz came out really, really hot. They couldn't miss. Oklahoma City got down big, and yet somehow steamrolled to what ended up being, was it a 32-point win? I don't know. What do you say?
This was absolutely nuts. So the Thunder got down 18 points to the Jazz at one point. The Jazz were hitting everything. They could not miss. That first quarter, at the end of the first quarter, the Thunder were down 44-30. The most surprising thing here is that the Thunder gave up 44 points in a whole quarter. Funny enough, that's how much the Jazz scored in the entirety of the second half. They scored 44 points in the second half. After the first quarter, completely different ball game. The Thunder just shut off the faucet. Jazz couldn't do anything. But to the Jazz's credit, they fought hard. That third quarter, though, like obviously the game started turning in the second quarter. The Thunder outscored them by 13 in the second quarter. And I think at halftime, everybody's like, yeah, Thunder are going to win this. And then in the third quarter, they outscored them 43-20. And that included a 33-4 run at the end of the third quarter. Just absolutely absurd that this game went from a game where the Thunder were down 18 to where they win by 32 points. Yeah, just absolutely absurd. The craziest thing I think about any of that was even when the Thunder were down 18 points, I think if you were to take a quick straw poll of 100 Thunder fans and said, your team is down 18 points right now to the Jazz on the road, are they going to win or not? I bet you like 90 of those 100 fans would say, yeah, the Thunder are still going to come back and win, even though they're down 18. I don't know if that says more about the Thunder or the Jazz or both, but I think that's how everybody felt.
Yeah, especially because the lead the Jazz built was really because they were shooting so well, and you just knew that wasn't going to last all four quarters. And if it did, you got to tip your cap. I mean, what else can you say about it? But the other thing I want to mention is, yeah, the Thunder were down 18 in the first quarter. They were even down 7 points with 7:20 to go in the third quarter. That's when the Thunder went on that 33-4 run and just blew the game wide open. I mean, that has to be terrifying. I mean, the Jazz are not good. They're better than anticipated. They have some fight. Again, they were able to put up quite a few points in that first quarter with 44, but the Thunder, as we've talked about with every team they played this season, just seemed to be on a completely other level. And when the Thunder shoot 62% from three, you're going to get destroyed.
Yeah, 23-37. If the Thunder shoot like 35% from three, you're probably getting destroyed. And if they hit the 40% mark, you're just not beating them. But if they hit 62%, that's how you come back from 7 down in the third quarter to win by 32 points, and you go on a 33-4 run. Shea was unbelievable. He scored 31 points in only 30 minutes, but the efficiency was just dumb. 9 of 14 from the field, 3 of 3 from three. He had 8 assists to only 2 turnovers. This is just what Shea does. It's like the lines that he puts up now are just so ridiculous. He's the reigning MVP, and he somehow got better. And the two areas that anyone could have pointed to him, they're like, yeah, maybe you could get a little bit better here, and that would take him to another level. Those two areas would have been playmaking. He looks improved in playmaking, much improved somehow, and three-point shooting. And he's so much better from three. Obviously, small sample size, 18 games, but he's shooting 41% from three on the season. He is very much in the territory of 50-40-90 on 32 points scored per night, which would be the greatest 50-40-90 season we've ever seen. Shea has been ridiculous, and this was just kind of like a microcosm of that night.
And the last thing I want to mention about this game is the turnover battle. The Thunder had 14. The Jazz had 28 turnovers, leading to 44 Thunder points. The Thunder had 15 steals in this game. The defense really did dial it in. I think maybe they knew this was a cup game and they needed to win big to keep the margins and the differentials where they need to be to guarantee advancing if they continue to win games. But really just an all-out dominant effort by the Thunder to beat the Jazz. And then the Thunder kind of kept it going back home against the Blazers with another blowout win, this time a 122-95 victory, again led by the defense.
Yeah, so this one was, I don't want to say it was payback, but the Blazers were the only team that had beaten the Thunder all season. And, just to put some context behind that one loss, that was their third game in 4 nights in 3 different cities, second night of a back-to-back, both of these on the road. They just played a 10 p.m. Central tip the night before, and they didn't have, of course, Jada, but they also didn't have Chet or Caruso or Lou Dort. And they ended up getting up by 22, and they ended up losing by 2 to Portland. So this was the rematch in OKC on Sunday, and I tweeted out, the Thunder came out and just absolutely blitzed the Trailblazers. And I honestly could not tell the difference of whether this was payback for the one loss that they had on the season or if it was just a normal Thunder quarter. Like that's how ridiculous this Thunder team is. Like I could not tell if there was an extra edge or not because that's just how they play. But yeah, they just from the jump, it was very obvious that the Thunder were going to make amends for their one loss.
Thunder's still best team in the NBA record wise at 17-1. The Pistons a surprising 15-2. They've won 13 straight. The Thunder have won 9 straight. With a win tonight, the Thunder will get a 10-game win streak. And when I see that, it reminds me of the days of yore when Royce would optimistically say that the Thunder they have a 10-game win streak in them. It's just right around the corner. And now the Thunder win games. They go on these streaks on a somewhat regular basis where, yeah, any point in the season, they can go on a 10-game run.
They can. And I expect them to win tonight against the Wolves on national TV. And, you look at like the next time they could lose and, it's the NBA. You could lose any game, but it would be surprising if they lost tonight, if they lost on Black Friday to the Suns, and you like kind of go down the schedule, like when are they going to lose again? And again, I mean, it could happen tonight. This is a Wolves team that has gone to back-to-back Western Conference Finals, and it's a Wolves team that has Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. So, I don't want to look past the Wolves, but the Thunder had a 15-game win streak last season. That's their best in franchise history. And it's just wild to think that, going back to, as you said, Royce, the godfather of Daily Thunder, and those former Thunder teams with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and all the talent that they had. And this Thunder team just keeps breaking every record that those teams had, including these win streaks. And it's just not odd anymore to see the Thunder win 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row, which is wild in and of itself that they can go on these streaks, and it's not surprising.
Well, again, the Thunder persist as the most dominant team in the NBA. Their net rating is pushed up to 16.9, which is historic even by their standards that they set last season. Of course, the schedule has been a little bit light to start the year. You play the games on your schedule. The Thunder are taking care of business, and in the process, they're just demolishing their opponents day in and day out. Now, one thing, though, that seems to be different than last season, particularly about Shea, but the team as a whole, is the free throw rate. There's been so much commentary last season about how many free throws Shea took or the whistle that the Thunder were getting. You tweeted about where the Thunder ranked. They're 22nd in free throws in the NBA. They are 23rd in free throw rate. Can we finally put that narrative to bed?
It should have been put to bed long ago. Like this whole narrative that the Thunder benefit from the whistle it's just not true. Like you just look at the facts. It's very easy to look up free throw differential, look up free throw rate. Thunder at the bottom of both of them, and they have been. They were the number 1 seed 2 years ago, 57 wins, one of the bottom teams in free throw differential. And, some of the Shea, foul stuff was picking up steam as far as narratives go that season. Then, of course, it hit a high last year. The Thunder are the number 1 team in the NBA, 68 wins, all those things. Still one of the bottom teams in free throw differential and one of the bottom teams, again, in attempted free throws this year. And so I was looking at free throws. And, Shea is number 5 in the league. He's never led the league in free throws attempted, despite the fact that he, by far and away, leads in drives, and he has for now 6 seasons running. And I noticed, like, Luka Doncic is having a historic season from the free throw line. He is right now attempting more free throws per game than any guard in NBA history, like full stop. Going all the way back to when, even back in the day when free throws were at an all-time high. And so then I also noticed, okay, Austin Reeves, I knew he was high. He's number 3 in the league. Austin Reeves, free throws attempted per game. And so then I was just curious, like, okay, so Luka is having a historic free throw attempts per game season. And then Austin Reeves, who's never made an all-star game, is number 3 in the league. Like, if you combine them, like, where would they rank compared to just teams? And They are above the Wizards, Bucks, and Celtics. The Bucks, who have Giannis, by the way, as far as those two guys versus total teams, and they are right behind the Suns, 0.1 free throws attempted per game behind the Suns, which I just think is wild. I just think it's wild because the Thunder have the reputation, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has the reputation being, free throw merchants, whatever you want to call it. And yet the Lakers, who, by the way, have led in free throw differential like every single season, and it's regardless of who's coaching, it's regardless of personnel, it's regardless of players. Lakers always at the top. And now you got Luka and Austin Reeves. I just thought it was interesting enough to tweet it out. I didn't really mean, I wasn't trying to it was more so like, hey, Shai has this reputation. The Thunder have a reputation. Here's what the actual facts are. The Thunder are bottom 10 in free throws attempted per game. And then you got two players from the Lakers who alone are above three teams by themselves. I just thought it was interesting enough to tweet out.
Yeah, I agree. And seeing two Lakers near the top of the list and at the top of the list in free throw attempts, not surprising. But if you want to talk about a team that probably does draw a favorable whistle because of their jerseys, it is the Lakers. And Doncic is really, really good at drawing fouls and getting to the line often. I mean, he feels like he gets fouled every single play. He's constantly flailing his arms or looking at the refs with his arms held out, which is not something that Shai does either. I mean, that's a pretty big difference to me. Is Shai might give a little glance to the ref, but he's not out there begging for calls. He plays the game, which I love about Shai. And yeah, I saw the tweet. I just kind of wanted to make sure we clearly noted that the Thunder are good. The Thunder are great. They're on historic pace right now. And Shai's free throw shooting has nothing to do with it. If Shai didn't take a single free throw, the Thunder are still 17-1.
Yes, 100%. 100%. And again, it's worth noting, this is 6 seasons in a row that he's led the league in drives, and it's not even close. Not even close. And he's never led in free throws attempted per game. He's actually number 5 in that category right now. So yeah, it's got nothing to do with that. I hope as this team continues on this journey of, being a contender, being the best team in the NBA, that those narratives will be put to bed as more people start looking at the facts and just realizing, hey, this guy is really, really good. It's not the free throw thing. He's just incredibly talented. We'll probably never get there, though.
This is well, one thing that Shai does lead the league in, which I just found this an interesting stat, and I think all day people will say individual plus minus is irrelevant. And I guess, there are much better indications of ability and impact on the game. But among players who have played at least 3 games, Shai is number 1 in the NBA in individual plus minus. And the Thunder, again, among players who played at least 3 games, have Shai at number 1, Chet at number 2, Caruso at number 4, and Casey Wallace at number 6 in the NBA.
I mean, this Thunder team is just so absolutely stacked. This Thunder team has so much talent at the top. When you have Shai, who is arguably the best player in the NBA, it's either him or Jokic. Take your pick. That's a whole other topic for another day. But they have maybe the best player in the NBA. Then they have J-Dub, who hasn't played a single game, but he's an All-NBA player. Then you got Chet, who I think we all believe is going to be an All-Star and maybe Defensive Player of the Year this year. And then you just go through the list. The Ringer just came out with their new updated top 100. There's 8 players from the Thunder in the top 100. That leaves 92 players amongst 29 teams for the rest of the league. Just absolutely absurd how the top end talent, but then also the depth. And that's what drives this team. The talent is just dispersed everywhere. It's not just Shai, Dub, and Chet. It's the fact that you have Caruso and Kaysen and AJ Mitchell and Hartenstein and Dort, Wiggins. I mean, it's just... It is an embarrassment of riches how talented this team is.
Well, for the next segment, I want to go back to something, a quote that happened about a week ago, so I'm a little bit behind. But Josh Giddey, former Thunder guard, was asked about life in Oklahoma City, and he gave this quote where he said that one of the blessings is there's nothing to do in Oklahoma. And he was saying as a positive, right? There's nothing in Oklahoma. And so further, he said the guys are we have to hang out with each other. It's a great way to create that team chemistry and the bond because there's, quote, nothing to do in Oklahoma City. But maybe taking away from basketball, Brandon, how long have you lived in Oklahoma City?
My entire life.
Your entire
So
life. Okay.
for 29 years.
Now, and Josh Giddey's not the first player to say that there's not much to do in Oklahoma. A lot of times, you'll have the reporters ask players, oh, what's it like adjusting to Oklahoma when they move from a different market or they come from overseas? And it is pretty typical. They talk about how quiet it is, the slow pace, there's nothing to do. Now, would you push back on that narrative? Do you think Oklahoma City gets sold a little short as as a small market where, I don't know, people want to write the story that Oklahoma City has nothing and that's what makes it special?
Yeah, so I enjoy Oklahoma City. I really do think that there's a lot of cool, fun things to do. There's so many great restaurants. There is a lot of fun, here's the deal. I'm not like a 20-something NBA player, with unlimited money. And so I don't know all those fun things. Like if you go to New York City, I would probably be going to Broadway shows or roaming around Times Square. Just my idea of fun may be different than a 25-year-old, millionaire player, which is understandable. I think that there are plenty of fun things to do in Oklahoma City, but it's what I enjoy doing. That said, credit to Josh Giddey, because I saw this interview, and like you said, he was saying it as a positive, and the interviewer was kind of trying to laugh about that and kind of joke about that and kind of put Oklahoma City on. He wasn't really talking. Josh Giddey just kept trucking on, ignoring that part of him, saying that's why we're so good and close as a basketball team and those things, and even the quote was aggregated and kind of that was the emphasis, hey, there's nothing to do in Oklahoma City, but that was definitely not Josh Giddey's intent. I think Oklahoma City is fun. It is a growing city. There are more and more things to do. Every weekend, it seems there are fun shows to go to. There are fun, places to go play. I don't know. It's just what you're into. I'm not into, clubs and that kind of stuff. I don't know what Josh Giddey or insert NBA player is into, but I dig Oklahoma City, John. I think it's great.
Yeah. And I think my point here is that I do think the media, locally and nationally, it seems like an easy story to write, that it's a small market, it's a quiet, sleepy town, there's not much here. And they do, to your point on how they're trying to twist Josh Giddey into making it sound like it was a negative about Oklahoma City when it really was a positive. Yeah, it's not an LA or a New York City, but the city has plenty of things to do. It has some pretty incredible restaurants. And above all, it has some great people. But the most important thing that Oklahoma City has over many other markets is the Thunder are the draw. It is the only professional team, and the fan base treats the Thunder like royalty. They show up. It's loud. It's a special place to play in the Paycom Center. Opposing fan bases say that. You heard, I don't remember which player it was in starting five. I know it wasn't KD or Harden, but there was a player who was asked the loudest arena, and it was Oklahoma City that he said, and continually that's what the expectation is, that the Thunder have the best home court advantage. And so, yeah, maybe the Guggenheim isn't in Oklahoma City, but as an NBA player, getting to play in front of a passionate fan base that's going to show up and be loud, there's no better place to play.
Yeah, exactly. I think you nailed it. And, this team, these players that are here, do genuinely seem to, one, love Oklahoma City, the people, the community, and how they've been embraced, and they have also embraced the city. And there's nothing but positive, words coming out from this team as far as Oklahoma City and the fan base and the city and the community goes. So, and look, the NBA season, half the time, Shea lives in Canada, Lou lives in Canada, Chet is from Minnesota. You go back home to your place or go to Miami or New York or LA for the summer for a few weeks, go home. You got half a year, but while they're here, they really enjoy it. and they're winning basketball games and they enjoy each other in this city. So,
well, let's shift focus since today is the day before Thanksgiving. And let me hear your top 3 reasons for Thunder fans to be thankful this Thanksgiving.
So I actually posed this question because I'm going to be doing a video later, and I was curious what fans would say, and I got a lot of great answers, and I will tell you the top 3 reoccurring answers by far. Okay, so one of them was obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just like Shai being on this team and being the superstar that he is, leading the way he is, the high character person that he is, the fact that he has completely bought into this team and this community and all those things. Like having Shai, one, as your superstar franchise cornerstone player on court, being arguably the best in the NBA is one thing, but then having Shai as your cornerstone franchise player off the court, the kind of person he is, the kind of leader he is, the kind of, family man and all those things, fill in the blank. We all know the character that Shai is. I think that is absolutely one of the top 3 reasons to be thankful as a Thunder fan. And that was one of the top answers. I think another one, this was a reoccurring answer. And I think the greatest asset the Thunder have and have had for 18 years now is Sam Presti as your general manager. This man has taken 2 completely different teams, built a contender, now won a championship, 5 Western Conference finals, 2 final trips, multiple MVPs. The talent that Sam Presti has brought to this team, again, the kind of leader and person that he is, I say off the court. I don't know how to out of the office, I guess you would say. I don't know what you would say. And then in office, the fact that he's in one of the smallest markets in the NBA, took a team by drafting 3 MVPs consecutively, built a contender, and then Kevin Durant walking away, and he was somehow able to go through the quickest rebuild in history, the most successful rebuild in history, and bring this state a championship. Sam Presti is, I think, the greatest asset the Thunder have, and the most, if you want to be thankful for something as a fan, Sam Presti has to be at or near the top of the list. And then, this is a fun one, John. This answer showed up time and time again when I asked Thunder fans what they're thankful for. And it's legit. It's funny, but it's also legit. The Los Angeles Clippers. The fact that, the Thunder traded Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and then a bunch of picks, one of which became J-Dub. And now they're in a situation where they may get another lottery pick to go along with everything else that they have. Yes, I think it's okay to be thankful for the Los Angeles Clippers as far as their hand in helping build this Thunder team.
Well, that's very sweet of you to give it up to the Los Angeles Clippers, and maybe special shouts to Paul George.
Yes.
As well. And Paul George choosing to sign that extension and come back to the Thunder.
Huge.
Yeah. This doesn't happen without those guys. And so, yeah, maybe Paul George should get inducted into the Oklahoma City Hall of Fame one day.
Honestly, like statue, jersey, Hall of Fame, all of the above, seriously. And to maybe even take it a step further, like his re-signing, I think Russell Westbrook had a large hand in that as well. So, obviously Russell Westbrook is a living legend in Oklahoma City, regardless of the jersey that he's wearing at any particular time. So, Russ having a hand in getting Paul George to re-sign, but that famous party that they threw when Paul George re-signed, had he not done that, this is a very, very different situation right now.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, Brandon. To celebrate, let's talk about the game tonight. You already mentioned you think the Thunder will beat the T-Wolves tonight. It is an NBA Cup game, a pretty important NBA Cup game The Thunder will continue to control their own destiny in their group should they win tonight. And then they have that matchup against the Suns on Friday. But the Wolves are a dangerous team. They did go to the Western Conference Finals last year. They're 10-7 on the season. But who do you think is more motivated to win tonight? The Thunder, who beat the Wolves in the Western Conference Finals last season, who have all the good pub, who everybody keeps talking about as the most dominant team in the NBA, or the Wolves, who are trying to enact some revenge for last year's playoff matchup and who are trying to get on track, having lost 2 games in a row?
It should be the Wolves. The Wolves should be more motivated for the reasons that you stated, because, the Thunder beat them in the Western Conference Finals, and because everybody's talking about the Thunder as the champs and the best team, and they've got the target on their back. But it seems like the Thunder are always the most motivated team, no matter who they're playing. Even if they're playing the Hornets or Wizards or Nets or whoever it is, it always seems like the Thunder are playing harder and are more motivated. And I honestly expect that tonight against the Wolves. A couple of fun things about this. Like you said, NBA Cup game tonight. The court looks great. It's on ESPN. It's an early tip, 6:30 on ESPN. Kenrich Williams is back for the Thunder, which is exciting. He hasn't played all season, so it's nice to get Kenny Hustle back. The other interesting thing about this, look, the Wolves are very good. You don't go to 2 Western Conference Finals in a row without being very good. They've got a very talented team, but they have not beat a team over 500 yet, which is just wild. And part of you would be like, okay, well, they're due to beat a team over 500, which I agree with that. But I don't think it happens tonight. I think the Thunder continue. I think they get 10 wins straight. And like you said, both teams should be motivated, because whoever wins this is going to win the NBA Cup, Group A West, Group 1 West, more than likely. I expect it to be the Thunder. I think the Thunder win Group 1 West. They play the Suns on Friday in an NBA Cup game, their final one from the group. I expect them to win that as well.
You already skipped ahead to the game on Friday that is against the Suns. The Suns, actually, to me, are a surprising 11-7. Are you surprised by how good they've been this year?
Oh, absolutely. And they're doing this. I don't know if this is, benefits them or not, but they're doing this without Jalen Green, who they got in the Kevin Durant trade. So, the Suns, really bad last year. And they had Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. They lose Bradley Beal. I don't know if lose is the right word. And then, they don't have Kevin Durant. They have Jalen Green, who's only played a couple of games. And yet they look so much better. They look much, much better. I'm really surprised. I think it's a good thing for the Thunder, though, that one of these teams that was supposed to be bad is thus far playing really well, because going back to those Clippers draft picks, the Clippers have started off terribly, 5-13, but there's a lot of bad teams right now that were unexpectedly bad, like the Mavs and like the Grizzlies and like the Kings. So seeing a team like the Suns being a surprise team and being pretty good, that's a good thing, because it pushes the Clippers a little bit farther down if you're looking at those draft pick scenarios.
Yeah, that's right. And then Thunder play the Blazers again. What is with the scheduling this season where the Thunder keep playing the same teams over and over and over again?
Yeah, every other game is either the Kings or the Blazers. And so it's the Blazers' turn coming up, and then we'll get the Kings again, the Blazers again. Actually, we will be done with the Kings. They played their final game against the Kings this season, but there's so many games against the Blazers. And there will be one more coming up after this, because it's a divisional game. I expect the Thunder to take the upper hand in the only series that they don't have the upper hand in yet. They're 1-1, so they're 500 against the Blazers. The only team that can say that right now.
And then they do close out this next week against the Warriors in San Francisco or in Oakland. The Thunder demolished the Warriors the last time. I would imagine the Warriors are going to want to play better this go round.
Yeah, they're going to be motivated. They had like a team meeting after that Thunder game. They came back and beat the Spurs the very next night when nobody expected to after that Thunder loss. Draymond has talked about that Thunder loss since then. Steph Curry has talked about that Thunder loss since then. So obviously being at home and, losing by 30 to the Thunder, they're 100% going to be more motivated. They're going to play better. So that should be a really, really fun game.
Well, Brandon, I know for tonight you're going to go cover the game against the Wolves, and then I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving with your family.
Thank you, man. Yeah, should be a fun game tonight. NBA Cup game, fun court, national TV, and yes, then some Thanksgiving, some turkey, some ham, mashed potatoes, some stuffing, and no yams and no cranberry sauce. So it should be a good day, John.
That's a great way to end it then. No yams, no cranberries. And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Thunder podcast. I'm John Napier, host of the podcast, and he's Brandon Rabar, Daily Thunder beat writer. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe to the Daily Thunder podcast on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you like what you hear, do us a favor and leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll be back in your feed soon.